Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got John Greschner. So this is part 5. If you guys want to see the other parts, just go back and check them out. I'll put a link for them in the description. Make sure you go check out Mike Marino's channel, Felons Talk. There's a lot of content over there. And shout out to him for getting me, John. I really appreciate it. And there's a lot of content on the way. I did not know, but StreamYard changed their price and they up the price every month. So it's crazy. They just did it out of the blue. So if you guys want to donate to the show, you can help out. You can hit up my Cash App at Chatting with Staxx, or you can hit up Venmo, PayPal, Super Stickers, Super Chats, all that good stuff. It would be nice if I could get a little relief on all this money I'm putting into all this content. But I appreciate all you guys for watching the show, and let's get into the content. To this episode of Chatting with Staxx, I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today, John Greschner calling.
Didn't turn out well for him, and I ended up getting in a knife fight with this guy and stabbing him to death. And my jury was out 3 days and twice tried to find me not guilty by reason of self-defense. The judge gave him a bad supplemental and jury instructions saying basically I can't pre-arm for self-defense. And there was a lot of drama going on at that time because they had the dead cops at Marion, and they had the dead cop in that spot in Wisconsin. Them kids killed that cop. We got all this drama going on, and that's where baby Huey, when he rolled over at that time, and he lied. Because 5 years later, cops came and said, okay, we understand this is bullshit now. But he told them there was a conspiracy by the Aryan Brotherhood to kill federal officials, and they believed it because they already had 2 dead at Marion in the control unit, 2 more stabbed up real bad, they crippled them, and then a few months later, them kids in FCI in Wisconsin, they whacked another one. Because they said, how do we get in that organization? And a dude set him up, a dude named Red. He says, you got to kill a cop. They said, bet. One dude got a knife, ran in, started hitting the cop. He couldn't get it done. The cop was fighting. The other guy grabbed the fire extinguisher, went in, and they beat and stabbed the cop to death. So they believed this shit. But there's a whole story on that shit, too, because they were planning to lock down Marion in the late 70s. And they didn't lock it down until 1983. That's why they threw me out of the federal courtroom in the front of the Marion prison during the Persino versus Carlson case, the lawsuit we filed to get to lift the joint back up. Because I was trying to get out the truth that they had planned the lockdown of Marion at least 5 years before. We got it under the Freedom of Information Act. And they were shutting it down. They're trying to make like Tommy and Player killing cops, put just notches in their gun butts. But that's not true. And they were planning on locking down. They brought in a new warden named Harold Miller. He's an old Alcatraz guard, my homeboy Clyde Johnson, and a crew snatched him out there on the rock back in the days, tied him up, put a gag on him, threw him in the bush, and then they hit the water trying to get away. Well, they brought him in 1980 as a new warden at Marion. And later on, during the United States House congressional meetings, the House Judiciary meetings on the investigation of Marion, their own cops testified. They said everything this warden did seemed designed to destabilize the inmate population and make shit happen. They had a few killings, stabbing, some cops got stabbed, mini riots and all that. And I was right there in the control unit with Tommy. Me and him was smoking weed. We're plotting and scheming. I'm telling him, I'm gonna get you out of jail. Don't trip. I got to go to Leavenworth for a minute. And here comes the unit manager, Howland, walking down the tier. And Tommy pulls him up. He said, if you don't get Klutz off my back, he said, I'm going to whack him. Now listen, he said, I'm going to book him. Well, Tommy's got 2 bodies in the control unit already. He came down to the control unit from Leavenworth where he had a body, just bumping his gums. You know, he'll put some work in. So they didn't move Klutz. And normally you only work 90 days, a quarter in any spot. You can work a second spot, a quarter, 6 months, and then they move you on. In the BOP, that's how it is. Klutz had been down the control unit for years and years and years. And when they knew there was a threat to him, they never moved him, man. I'm telling you, that's how that went down. I was trying to get that out from the witness stand, and finally the judge told me, Mr. Greschner, you can't be shouting that out from the witness stand. you can only respond to questions posed to you by counsel, like our counsel or the U.S. attorney or whatever. And I said, yeah, I understand. Because I knew I was out of line, but I'm trying to get the truth out. And they looked at me like, you understand, I'll come down off this bench and fuck you up. I looked at him. I told him, check this out, you little punk. I'll fuck you in your ass, you little bitch. And the marshals get him out of here, and they dragged me out of there. And that's when our lawyer, Nancy Horgan, said, come around and said, what the fuck do you think this is? The Chicago 7 trial or something? I told him, no, man, this is what we got to get this information out. But that's what really was going on at that time. So, you know, so I'm on trial, and they're flying me around in a helicopter because Baby Huey told them little Matt had give all the floor plans of the federal court buildings to the fellas in the streets, and they're going to come and break us out. My judge was holding newspaper fucking meetings during my trial out on the street corner. Tell them, oh yeah, we got word the White Aryan Brotherhood's going to bust these guys out there in trial. We got all this security because some of Greschner's witnesses, that they're all Aryan Brotherhood, Mexican Mafia. They got as many as 25 convictions, murders, drug trafficking, blah, blah, blah. So they got snipers everywhere, bomb dogs everywhere, and that wasn't even good enough. When they were driving me on the ground, I got a helicopter over the van, another helicopter a half mile out, and then a fixed wing plane flying orbits. I got 3 cars in front, 3 cars in back. They all got machine guns. And that wasn't good enough. Finally, they went to Fort Riley, Kansas, got the fucking Army helicopter, landed on the front lawn of Leavenworth. They had a 2.5 Army truck with some troops there. They would chain me up, take me out to the Army helicopter, padlock my leg irons to it, bolt at the floor, and I'd have troops on each side of me, and then U.S. Marshals, and they'd fly me like that to the Topeka, Kansas airport. And when the trial was over, they brought in an Army transport, chained me up. I got marshals and military, and I got a Mossberg shotgun in my back and flew back into Marion. My SORT team's waiting for me there and took me back into Marion. But that was the direct result of Baby Huey telling them full of shit that we was going to whack federal officials and that they had the floor plans to break us all out. That was all bullshit. And 5 years later, they came back and said, well, we understand now. It's bullshit.
Wow, that's crazy.
Baby, he would use that shit to get to Chicago, and him and Bernard Welch, what they do, they saw their way out and escaped and went unobtained from the MCC in Chicago. Plot on their part. You know what I'm saying? My name's John Greschner, and I'm down here in Colorado Department of Corrections, and I'm doing a interview with Staxx, man, and he's got a great channel. This is good stuff. We're good things. We're getting information out on what it really is, what's really going on. This is why I was telling Larry, listen, our thing is prison litigation and redemption program. Because I teach meditation. I heal people up in here. Deep meditation, Buddhist stuff, transcendental stuff. We're trying to get people ready for the streets. So it's not just gangland shit. We're doing a bunch of other stuff up in here, too.
So if you guys like this content, hit the like button. I got another one on the way. I got a bonus one for you guys. If you guys want, if you put a 1 in the chat and you want to see it now, put a 1 in the chat. If not, I'll put it up another time. But if you want to see the bonus one, put a 1 in the chat right now. If you don't put a 1 in the chat, I'll play it another time. All right, let's see some 1s. So, all right, I'm going to play the next one. Enjoy. And then there's one more after this. This episode of Chatting with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today, John Greschner calling.
My name is John Greschner. I'm in Colorado Department of Corrections. In the Arkansas Valley Correctional Facility in Ordway, Colorado. My address is 12750 Highway 96 at Lane 13, Ordway, Ordway, Colorado, 81034. I'm a federal prisoner doing 2 life sentences for murder and conspiracy to commit murder. I'm in the state prison system because I filed a bunch of lawsuits in the feds. They kicked me out, and I ended up over here. I've been a member of the Aryan Brotherhood for decades on National Commission, me, Barry Mills, T.D. Bingham, And I'm doing this program, an introduction thing, kind of a background information thing on me. But I want to go into clarifying misinformation in culture and books and all that have been coming out about the Aryan Brotherhood, about me and about a bunch of other guys. Government misconduct, illegal intelligence unit at the Supermaxes over in the ABX, and a lot of other stuff that was going on. There's a lot of stories about gangland and all that. We can talk about all of that, but it's very important to get out what's actually going on in these prisons, the government that's behind it, and resulting in prisoners' deaths, race wars, gang wars, all that. That's what I was arrested in October 1968. I've been down ever since. I've been in prison for the last 56 years.
Wow.
Got 38 of it in solitary confinement. The time I'm doing right now is what I picked up in jail. It was over gambling games, turned into a dispute. Guy was, him and some friends were talking about killing me and another guy. They tried to ambush us. It turned into a knife fight in the Center Hall at Leavenworth Federal Penitentiary. I killed him in a knife fight. In a book that recently came out, they said I did a public execution because he owed us $1,000, and I did a public execution in front of government officials. That's not true. An informant at a racketeering, a federal racketeering case we had in Santa Ana, California, said I killed him because he told on people for robbing banks. That's not true. When I was originally indicted, the U.S. attorney jumped up in the courtroom, said, "Your Honor, this man's a member of the Aryan Brotherhood. He's a contract killer, and this is a contract killing to keep the victim from going back out to California and testifying for the people." That's not true either. The truth of the matter is this dude owed us $1,200, $1,500. I borrowed him from the games till he paid his debts. He didn't like it. He got a knife. Him and a partner of his moved on me and a friend of mine, a Japanese dude. My jury was out 3 days, tried to find me not guilty of self-defense twice. But we had a bunch of political baggage going on at the time because 3 guards in the federal prison system had been killed, 2 at Marion and 1 in Oxford, and an informant who was lying put me in the middle of it. He said there's a conspiracy by the Aryan Brotherhood to kill federal officials. They believed it. 5 years later, they finally came back around, so we realized that was a mistake on our part, but they believed it at the time. And so, you know, that's what led to my convictions. I should have beat the case, but you know, that's how it is sometimes. So I've done 28 years in the federal prison system in Marion, Illinois, when it was the new Alcatraz. I did 1 year in Leavenworth when I picked up that case, and I did 8 years. I opened up Supermax in Florence, ADX, Colorado, the only acknowledged black site on American soil. I've done time in the California Department of Corrections from Pelican Bay in the north and the Shoes up there all the way down to Ironwood, down to South Quentin, Folsom, Corcoran, High Desert, all them places. So, you know, I kind of been around the country, man, and I know a lot of people, and I know a lot of the truth on what's really going on. So that's what I'm doing this for. And now at this late stage of the game, I teach meditation, deep meditation, self-healing, Siddha yoga meditation, Buddhism meditation. I've been doing that all around the country, and it's helping a lot of people. So that's what we're doing. Me and Barry, I go back to the mid-'70s, 1970s with Barry Mills. Me and him were on the National Commission together. He, myself, and T.D. Bingham. Me and Barry was cool. Barry was a good brother, and then he kind of got stuck in the feds, and it, you know, and then another brother named Slow kind of got it in his head because we were doing a lot of business with the Italians, with John Gotti and Nicky Scarfo. And Slow put it in Barry's head that, you know, he should kind of fancy himself as a godfather or a boss. But our organization didn't run that way. We had a 3-man commission, and we had some guys under us. But basically, we didn't have any bosses, man. The commission made all the rules. And Barry had some beefs with some brothers. He was trying to put some informant jackets on them. And it takes two commissioners to green light a brother. We got no hands policies. You can't even raise your hands to a brother. Even another brother can't do it. If you do, you're going to get whacked for that. Nobody else can put their hands on a brother. For anything to happen to a brother, 2 commissioners have to green light it, have to okay it. So Barry pulled me in because TD was at Leavenworth. He was the 3rd commissioner. And he's telling me like 4 or 5 guys are informants. I said, well, where's the evidence? There is no evidence. So I said, listen, I'm not rubber stamping that. You're going to have to get with TD, and he's not going to do it either. And I went and told all the other fellas that were there in D unit with us at Marion. I said, listen, this is what he's doing. There's a common denominator that runs through all that. He's been having problems with these guys over the oldies but the goodies. Drugs, money, and politics. And now he's trying to, put informant jackets on. But listen, man, there's no evidence of that. Call it what it is. Don't start smutting people down. So he didn't really like it, and I told all the fellas, our laws, if anybody gets involved in that, anything happens to a brother, everybody involved is going to get whacked. That's just how it is. Those are our laws. That shit's carved in stone on the face of the mountain. There's no gray areas. Well, Barry didn't like it, and so I had to go to him and tell him, listen, man, don't you ever try to give me an order to go kill somebody. If somebody needs to get killed over there, you get your knife, I'll get mine. We'll go kill them together. You're my brother, not my boss. AB stands for Aryan Brotherhood, not Aryan Brotherhood. And he didn't seem to appreciate that, but, those are the laws, man. So I get moved over to the other side of the block. I'm over there with the fellows over there. A few months later, I get wrapped up on a conspiracy, vicious rumors, conspiracy to hijack aircraft and escape from Marion, so I'm going away for a while. In the meantime, a guy came in from Boston named Kevin Rhodes. I didn't trust him. I told Barry, do not trust this guy. In retrospect, I believe he was an FBI plan. He turned out 7 years later he was missing in action. He rolled over, was the first guy in that illegal intelligence unit at the ADX in Florence, Colorado, where they're fabricating racketeering cases on us, on other prisoners, on U.S. citizens, and on foreign nationals. All this came out later, man. When a guy rolled out of that unit, Danny Weeks, I encouraged him to write the newspapers about it. He did. And westwardnews.com called The Broken Code, the year 2000. And 5 years later, there was another one called Bringing Down the Brotherhood. Danny was claiming to be a brother, a member in the Aryan Brotherhood, a shot caller. He never was. He's a bullshit artist. But at least it gives you some insight into what was going on in this unit. The thefts of national security documents and all that. So I know all the facts and all. I had to go through Jackie Reed on BET News to go up to the White House, Condoleezza Rice, to get the national security documents back to the agencies. There's a big thing they're trying to fabricate a case on, the Nation of Islam. Farrakhan, I warned Jackie Reed. She got with Farrakhan, warned him. There's all kinds of stuff that we need to go into in other sessions here. And this is all independently verifiable. So anyhow, Barry didn't like it. He started talking shit about me when I'm away in the hole. Kevin Rhodes told the cops that got us put on separation. For the next 7 years, I'm down in the shoes, and I'm hearing from cops, what are me and Bill's beefing about? I tell him, I ain't got no beef with nobody. Finally, I told the unit manager in the shoe down there in the ADX, I told him, listen, man, hypothetically speaking, you got that, right? Hypothetically speaking, he says, okay. I says, if me and him got a beef, if he's got some hard feelings about something with me, he'll get over it. He said, he'll get over it. I says, that's right. He said, okay, John. So I got out to the main line in 99. We were all in C unit for a minute, and we had to get the encryption systems together and all communicate between the blocks because they're building these A ranges to put all the tips on to lock us down. We're on the main line, but we're in these tips. So because we had a war going with the DC blacks because they just decided, well, let's just jump on all the whites, and they jumped on a couple of us at Marion, and people that kicked the war off. A lot of people got killed over that. The federal government was involved in putting us up in Lewisburg. When the director of the Federal Bureau of Prisons, when the investigation went down in the United States Congress, House Judiciary Committee, Kathleen Hawks Sawyer testified in front of the Congress Judiciary Committee, says, listen, Lewisburg is off limits to any active Aryan Brotherhood or Mexican Mafia, who are our allies. So what happened? Right when these guys did this, they went to Marion, went to Big Al, Tweak, JC, Jason, and Wayne Bridgewater said, hey, you guys want to get out of Marion and not go through the step-down program? They said, hell yeah. They said, we're going to send you to Lewisburg. They says, cool. They already knew, because one of the guys that was talking all this shit, talking about, I got 300 comrades up in Lewisburg. This is a DC black named T. He said, we'll just surround all them crackers and smoke all of them.
If you guys like this content, hit the like button, subscribe. If you want to donate to the show, you can donate through Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Super Stickers, Super Chat, Zelle, all that good stuff. Every single dollar helps a lot. I appreciate all you guys. And I will be back with more content. I got a lot of content dropping this week. You guys are going to love it. Hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. And if you don't like this content, too fucking bad. Go start your own podcast. I appreciate all you guys. And remember, don't be a bitch.